Have you ever wondered if someone is lying to you? You're not alone. Research shows that people lie in 1 out of every 5 interactions. That's a lot of deceit. But don't worry, we're here to help you spot those lies. Did you know that only 54% of people can detect a lie without any training? That means almost half of us are easily fooled. But it doesn't have to be that way. With the right techniques, you can become a human lie detector. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden signs of lying. From micro-expressions to voice changes, you'll learn the tricks experts use to spot deception. We'll reveal shocking facts, like how liars touch their face 5 times more than truth-tellers and how their voices often betray them. Stay tuned as we dive into the fascinating world of behavioral analysis. You'll discover how to read body language, detect inconsistencies in stories, and even understand the secrets behind eye movements. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to tell if someone is lying. Ready to uncover the truth? Let's get started. Chapter 1: The Art of Deception, Spotting the Unseen. Have you ever wondered why people lie? It's fascinating to think about. People lie for many reasons, from avoiding trouble to trying to impress others. But how can you spot these lies? Understanding the psychology behind lying is the first step. Liars often feel anxious because they fear being caught. This anxiety can lead to subtle cues, like fidgeting or avoiding eye contact. Did you know that about 60% of people can't hold eye contact when lying? This is because they feel guilty or nervous. One expert, Dr. Paul Ekman, says, lying requires more cognitive resources than telling the truth. This means liars often have to think harder to keep their story straight. This extra effort can show up in their behavior. So, what are some signs to look for? One big clue is inconsistency. If someone's story keeps changing, they might be lying. Pay attention to the details they provide. Are they too vague or overly detailed? Both can be red flags. Another sign is their tone of voice. Liars might speak in a higher pitch or their voice may waver. This happens because their body is under stress. In fact, studies show that 70% of liars show some vocal change. Chapter 2: Micro-expressions, the truth in a blink. Let's talk about micro-expressions. These are tiny facial expressions that flash across our faces for just a fraction of a second. They're almost impossible to fake and can reveal true emotions. Dr. Ekman, a pioneer in this field, discovered that these expressions are universal. That means everyone, regardless of culture, shows the same micro-expressions when they feel certain emotions. Isn't that amazing? So, how can you spot these micro-expressions? It takes practice. Start by watching videos of people speaking and try to catch those quick flashes of emotion. Anger, surprise, and fear are some of the easiest to spot. Here's a cool fact. In a study, people trained to detect micro-expressions were 70% more accurate in spotting lies than those who weren't. This skill can be a game changer in detecting deception. One common micro-expression is a brief frown when someone is trying to lie. It's a sign of inner conflict. Another is a quick raise of the eyebrows, indicating surprise. If this doesn't match what they're saying, it's a clue they might be lying. Chapter 3: Body Language Breakdown, the Silent Tells. Body language can speak volumes. When someone lies, their body often gives them away. Let's break down some of these silent tells. First, there's the classic sign of fidgeting. Liars tend to touch their face or neck more often. This is a subconscious way to comfort themselves. In fact, studies show that liars touch their face 5 times more than truth-tellers. Another sign is closed body language. If someone crosses their arms or legs, they might be trying to hide something. This can indicate they're feeling defensive or uncomfortable. Watch their hands too. Liars often use their hands less when speaking because they're concentrating on their words. On the flip side, some might use exaggerated gestures to make their story seem more believable. One unique fact is about the foot tell. Liars often point their feet towards the exit. This is because they subconsciously want to escape the situation. It's a subtle but powerful indicator. Eye contact is another key area. While many think liars avoid eye contact, some overcompensate by staring too intensely. It's a balancing act, and either extreme can be a sign of lying. Remember, no single sign is proof of lying. It's about looking for clusters of behaviors. If someone shows multiple signs, it's more likely they're not telling the truth. Chapter 4: Vocal Variations, Lies in the Voice. Let's dive into how someone's voice can betray their lies. Our voices often reveal more than we intend. When someone lies, their vocal pitch tends to rise. This happens because lying is stressful, and stress affects our vocal cords. Studies show that about 70% of liars exhibit changes in their voice. They might speak faster or slower than usual. Listen carefully for these changes. They can be strong indicators of deception. One fascinating fact is that liars often clear their throat more. This is due to the dry mouth that stress can cause. So, if someone keeps clearing their throat while telling you something, they might be lying. Another clue is stammering or repeating phrases. When people lie, they sometimes struggle to keep their story straight. This can lead to hesitations and repetitions. Dr. Albert Mehrabian, an expert in nonverbal communication, noted that the way words are said can convey more meaning than the actual words themselves. Pay attention to the speed of their speech. If someone suddenly starts talking very fast, they might be trying to rush through the lie. Conversely, speaking too slowly can indicate they're carefully choosing their words to avoid being caught. Chapter 5. Inconsistencies in Storytelling. The Devil in the Details. Now, let's focus on inconsistencies in storytelling. When someone lies, they often struggle to keep their story consistent. This is because it's hard to remember all the details of a made-up story. A key strategy is to ask for the same story at different times. If the details change, it's a strong sign they might be lying. Dr. Bella DePaulo, a psychologist who studies deception, says, liars often change their stories when asked to repeat them. Another tactic is to ask for details. Liars tend to either give too many or too few details. If someone's story is overly detailed, it might be rehearsed. If it's too vague, they might be trying to hide something. Here's an interesting fact. When lying, people often avoid using the word I. They distance themselves from the lie. Instead, they might use passive language or speak in third person. Pay attention to the timeline of their story. Liars often struggle to keep events in logical order. If someone's story jumps around or seems out of sequence, it could be a sign they're making it up. Chapter 6. Eye Movements. Windows to the Truth. Eye movements can be a window to the truth. Our eyes often reveal what our words try to hide. One common belief is that liars avoid eye contact, but it's not always true. Some liars overcompensate by maintaining too much eye contact. Dr. David Matsumoto, a body language expert, explains that different types of eye movements can indicate different thought processes. When people are recalling facts, they tend to look to the right. When they're creating a story, they might look to the left. Rapid blinking can also be a sign of lying. When people lie, their blink rate can increase due to stress. Studies have shown that liars blink up to 8 times more than usual. Watch for dilated pupils. When someone lies, their pupils often dilate because of the adrenaline rush. This can be a subtle yet telling sign of deception. An interesting fact: liars often close their eyes for longer than usual when speaking. This is a way to mentally distance themselves from the lie. If you notice someone blinking slowly or closing their eyes for an extended period, they might be lying. Another sign is when someone's eyes dart around. If they're looking everywhere except at you, it could be because they're trying to avoid scrutiny. But remember, these signs alone don't prove lying. It's the combination of multiple signs that's most telling. Chapter 7. Stress Signals. The Pressure Points of Liars. Stress signals can be powerful indicators of lying. When people lie, their bodies often react in ways they can't control. One of the most common stress signals is sweating. Liars tend to sweat more, especially on their forehead and hands, because lying activates the body's stress response. Another sign is fidgeting. When someone lies, they might fidget with objects like their phone or jewelry. This is a way to release nervous energy. A study found that liars fidget about twice as much as truth-tellers. Pay attention to someone's breathing. Liars often take shallow breaths because they're anxious. This can lead to changes in their voice and make them seem out of breath. Here's an interesting fact: liars often lick their lips more. This happens because stress causes dry mouth. If you notice someone licking their lips frequently while talking, it could be a sign they're not being honest. Look for facial tension. Liars might clench their jaw or tighten their lips. These small signs of tension can reveal a lot about their inner state. Dr. Leanne Ten Brink, a psychologist who studies deception, notes, facial muscles often betray the stress of lying. Chapter 8. Unnatural Gestures. The Clues in the Hands. Unnatural gestures can be a goldmine of clues. When someone lies, their hand movements often don't match their words. This is because it's hard to control every part of the body when lying. Watch for over-exaggerated gestures. Liars sometimes use big hand movements to distract from their words. They might gesture more than usual to make their story seem more convincing. However, these gestures often feel out of sync with what they're saying. Another clue is hiding hands. Liars often keep their hands hidden in pockets or behind their back. This is a subconscious attempt to hide their nervousness. Research shows that people who lie are 50% more likely to hide their hands than those who tell the truth. Notice any delays in gestures. When someone is lying, their hand movements might lag behind their words. This happens because they're focused on crafting their lie. It's a subtle but telling sign. Here's an interesting fact. Liars often touch their face, neck, or hair more frequently. This is called self-soothing behavior, and it's a way to cope with the stress of lying. If you see someone repeatedly touching their face or neck, they might be lying. Chapter 9, Expert Insights, Professional Techniques for Lie Detection. Let's get insights from the experts. Professionals have developed sophisticated techniques to detect lies. One popular method is statement analysis. This involves examining the words someone uses to find inconsistencies and hidden meanings. For example, liars often avoid using personal pronouns like I or my. This helps them distance themselves from the lie. According to Dr. John Olson, an expert in forensic linguistics, the way people phrase their statements can reveal much about their truthfulness. Another technique is the behavioral analysis interview. This method involves asking open-ended questions and observing how someone responds. Experts look for signs of stress, such as hesitations or changes in body language. Professionals also use the polygraph, commonly known as a lie detector. While not foolproof, it measures physiological responses like heart rate and sweating to determine if someone is lying. Studies show that polygraphs are about 85% accurate. A unique fact: some experts use functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, to detect lies. This technology scans the brain to see which areas are active when someone lies. It's a cutting-edge technique, but it's still in the experimental stage. Dr. Ekman's facial action coding system, FACS, is another powerful tool. It involves analyzing facial movements to detect emotions and lies. This method is based on the idea that certain facial expressions are universal and can reveal hidden emotions. By understanding and applying these professional techniques, you can enhance your ability to detect lies. Remember, no single method is perfect. The key is to look for multiple signs and use a combination of techniques to uncover the truth.